What's up, everybody? Welcome to your PixelPlay Sidequest for this week. My name is Adam, aka CS Radical, joined as always Jin and Chris, and never joining us. I always point in the wrong direction because one of these days I'll figure out mirror imaging. Not joining us as per usual is Kaylan because, well, Dad, I guess. That's usually the reason. We end up recording the Sidequest at our usual time that we used to do for the main show, and now, because he's a little bit later putting the kids to bed, we just end up recording a little bit later, so it's like he gets one piece. I also work it early in the morning, so I'm not staying up till 11 o'clock recording a side quest. That seems like a really bad idea considering I have to edit it afterwards. And by edit, I mean clip off where the recording starts, clip off where the recording ends, put the music there, put an image there, fade it out, go to the end, put the music there, fade it in, fade it out, boom, done. But it's the rendering that takes forever. That's also why I go to bed.
Yeah, the rendering would take forever.
Dude, the old computer I used to have, it would take me triple the time. It would be 2 hours to render the podcast. Now it's maybe 30 minutes most of the time.
Well, that's not as bad.
Processing power, man. Who knew? But speaking of processing power.
Oh, that's a segue. That's what that was.
I mean, it's not a blast processor. We did the Genesis last week, but So we're going to do the Super Nintendo. Now, I happened to forget when we did the Genesis one that when we did the NES one at first, we said 3 only. We kind of broke that rule last time. So we're going to now unbreak the break
and reattach it.
And we're just going to stick to 3 here, which is going to be really challenging considering we're talking about the super goddamn Nintendo. So we're going to have to be very, very, very picky with this, which means some games are going to be left on the cutting room floor, which is a damn shame. So Chris, tell me why it's not Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, it's not Chrono Trigger, actually. It's just, and to tell you why...
So A, it's the free space, but also you just assume it's never happening anyway, so what's the point?
Yeah, and then I'd be worried they'd fuck it up, because, they could go full 3D graphics and everything like that. And
well, yeah, but Dragon Quest, because it's Akira Toriyama anyway.
If they do the 2D HD thing, I would love that.
No. I mean 3D, what Dragon Quest is now with 11.
Oh, well, yeah, with 11, yeah, that would also be
great.
Or
similar to I guess Sandland would be the most current Toriyama game.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm just
Which
worried
I still gotta play. I played the demo and it wasn't too big of it, but I wanted to still play the actual game and see if maybe it's just, I got a bad start.
Yeah, I didn't even try the demo for that one. My backlog exists, so the demos are tough.
But enough about games not going on the list. All right, what's your first then?
All right, the first one I'm gonna go with is Breath of Fire. I'm going to start it right off with
there was the top of my list because I was cheating. I said Breath of Fire 1 and 2 like Suikoden is.
That would be smart. I would like that. I chose Breath of Fire because the game is amazing. It is beautiful. The music is great, but good gravy does it need an update to some quality of life stuff. It is a grind, and you spend way too much time grinding. I was playing it on the Switch Online service, and I had to install it on my Steam Deck just so I could emulate it, so I could fast forward at speed 10 times when I'm doing battles, just to grind because it requires so much. I was able to cut 6 hours out so far of the game, but it's still so much grinding even with the speed up at 10 times. I'm not running the whole game. I can just press a button.
I've played
and do it, but
over the last little while. I know I finished 1. I don't know if I finished. I think I did finish 1 and 2. But man, was there a lot of times holding down the turbo key to make shit go faster because it was a bitch. Eventually, I gave up and said, "Fuck it, we're game sharking this. I don't care."
Yeah. I'm not there yet, but I guess the 10 times battle speed. Just hitting the fast forward button, just left, right, attack, left, right, attack.
Because a lot of stuff are too spongy that I eventually just gave up. I'm no, I'm just going to overpower this. Now I'm done.
Yeah, it is a grind. I mean, it's Super Nintendo, very early Super Nintendo.
Oh, if I was a kid, this would have been perfect for me. This would have gotten so much time out.
Oh, it did for me at my buddy's house, but so much, hundreds of hours.
I'm trying to think, though, man, because I really would like to see 3 and 4 as well, but we'll get to that with PlayStation probably at some point. But
Oh yeah, they'll probably be on the list for
Man,
that too.
like we've talked about it before on the show. If there's any JRPG series we want to see come back, aside from the Free Space and Chrono, it's this. Like I know
Yeah.
you're the big Xenogears guy, but I think we both are like combined going, no, Breath of Fire, man. Like
Oh,
that shit was
100%.
such a great style too.
Oh yeah, it was a great style. It was like Capcom, and it even had that like Capcom feel to it, right? Um, but yeah, yeah, this is a series that it's like, why isn't this here? Like, let's like the series needs to come back, and I think it would be great to start bringing it back by redoing. I think the first two, combining them is
Well,
smart,
it's in the
actually.
same way that like with Suikoden having its remasters coming in and like obviously Aid and Chronicle doing as well as it did. Like it shows that like there's more than enough of a market that's interested in this stuff, especially because single player gaming has really been making a massive pushback because people are getting real tired of the same three styles of multiplayer games over and over.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like there's been huge success with like Tactics Ogre, Dragon Quest 3, Grandia 1 and 2 got re-released, Star
Yep.
Ocean got re-released. Like so many of these games are getting their re-release, and yeah, they're remakes, maybe remasters depending on
Star
which
Ocean's still
one.
alive, but they're alive in quotations.
Yeah, oh yeah,
The
the
games haven't
Star
been
Ocean
good
one
since
is
like the PS2.
yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, like people are definitely still buying the re-releases of these old JRPGs. I think they missed the turn-based or old school kind of feel of it because we all know Final Fantasy and everything is just not doing it anymore. So yeah, it's got to come back. I think it should, and a remake of the first two. I like your idea. I think would be perfect.
Well, we did one JRPG that needs to come back, so I guess I'll boot up the next one since she already took one of them off my list. So I've said this before, and I don't care what people's opinions are. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest needs a proper comeback.
Yes,
And the reason for that is,
yes.
to be completely honest, like I know a lot of people don't care for it because it's baby's first JRPG, to which my argument is, yeah, that'd be great to get people involved into the series because way too many games are complicated or way too long. Whereas this game is short, you could remake it, charge like $40 for it, and it's like a 10-hour at most game, and that's probably stretching it. And it's relatively approachable for new players too. Like, why wouldn't you want something akin to that?
Also, like I know people kind of shit on this one because baby's first JRPG kind of thing. I fucking love Mystic Quest. I've beaten this game in my life probably 20 times. And it is because it's like I can play through a Final Fantasy in like 10 hours and it's like a quick fix. Like and it's actually really good. Like I get where it's like, oh, there's no random battles and stuff. That's amazing. Sometimes you don't want random battles. Sometimes you want like there's 20 enemies on the screen. You can go fight them all if you want, and if you don't, fuck it. Then don't. Like just walk around them or whatever,
You
right?
want to know what's
Um
crazy?
what?
So the how long to beat score, because I wanted to see how long it is. So apparently main story is 14 hours, which is longer than I thought. But
Okay.
like completionist is 14 and a half. So like it's really just you're playing through the game.
Yeah, it's just a matter of stopping at each battlefield and doing all 10 battles at every single one, which is a good idea anyways because then you're at like max level you can be for the final boss
I was
and
gonna say, yeah, the final boss will kick your ass
great
if you're
idea.
not leveled. That's the
Yeah.
one hard part about the game is the final boss.
Yeah. And I'll throw it out there. To me personally, this is one of the best Final Fantasy soundtracks out there. It's not number one.
Arguably, I would say the best battle theme in all of Final Fantasy.
Battle theme,
Like main
100%.
battle theme.
That,
I'm not talking special
yeah,
themes like Battle on the Big Bridge or something like that. I'm talking just straight
yeah.
base battle theme.
Oh yeah. And then you get like the Doom Castle or whatever it is called at the end. And there's like rock versions of that song all over Spotify. If you haven't heard any of this music me and Adam are talking about right now, go on Spotify, look up Final Fantasy Mystic Quest like remix album or whatever it would be called. It's like a metal version. It is incredible. Like and it's because the music is already so incredible. So to just get some actual real instruments behind it is oh god, it's some of the best music in Final Fantasy history for sure. So oh, it
100%.
needs a remake. It does.
Yeah.
Bring it back. I need that on my
And that
computer
is a
somewhere.
very small project. You can 2.5D that real easy. It's not that much. You could easily get that done in like a year ish.
Yep, 100%. And if they do it, I just hope they keep the feature that the Mario RPG remake had, where you could switch between the original music and the new music. I love that.
I'd
Because
probably
to me,
keep it on the remake version for a lot of it. As soon as the battles start, no. We're turning on the OG.
Back. Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's certain music in that I'd be like, I want the original. I just want that chill Windia music or whatever it would be. Like, you know? Oh, good pick. Good pick, Adam.
All right, Chris, number 2, what do you got?
And I'm very happy you chose that because that removed me having to bring it up myself. So my next one gonna be a little bit controversial, maybe, because I'm sure some people will be like, it doesn't need a remake because it has sequels and it's kind of been remade because each release of this game is just a remake. But I'm going with SimCity. Now, hear me out. I think SimCity took a huge turn at some point. It was not too far into its. It was like in the 2000s. It became ridiculous. It became way too much. It became way too complicated. And honestly, not my favorite. My favorite SimCity, still to this day, is the Super Nintendo version of SimCity. It was simple. The music is super catchy. When I used to go for walks at night, well, I mean, I still go for the walks at night, but sometimes I actually throw on the SimCity soundtrack on Spotify. Now, it's not the original, but somebody pretty much just remade it nicely and kind of put up their own edition on Spotify. And it's specifically the Super Nintendo one. It is such good, calming music. Like, I love to go to this game when I'm looking to relax. You wouldn't be able to pick up like a Steam Deck or something like that and play a new SimCity and feel relaxed. You wouldn't be able to. It's so much stuff. It's like, you're looking at a specific person that lives in the city and what's their job and how happy are they? Well, they're unhappy because of this and that and this and that. This version of SimCity was simplified. It was just, did you place, industrial buildings right next to residential? That's not great. You should keep them more separated. Like, there was a system to it, but it was a lot more calming, I found. And that's one thing that I really do miss about the SimCity franchise. So maybe it's not even necessarily a remake of this specific one, but I would love a new SimCity that's in this style. That's just
more of an
the old
approachable
school
one for people that aren't like
Yes.
super into like complicated shit. Like, I know you're your big city skylines guy.
Yeah, and I'll have that. That's great. But I feel like if EA wanted to bring, because I think EA owns SimCity now, if they wanted to bring it back, I figured this would be a great way to do it. Make it a much more approachable old school SimCity with updated graphics a bit. Obviously, like in this game, there was a lot of mechanics that like you didn't even understand how it worked. It was like, why is there always traffic? How do you even deal with this? There's like 17 lanes of road. Why isn't it working? I think like maybe just giving slight improvements to the mechanics of this would be great. But again, for the most part, keep it this simple way. Even maybe go with an old school, new school, but old school graphic style. Instead of trying to go super realistic, make it kind of pixelated. You know what I mean? Like for 4K TVs, but still in that old school style. I know I personally would love that because that version of SimCity is something I go back to probably once every 4 years. I'll go and create a town, start from scratch, and go as far as I can to the end before I kind of can't progress any further or just kind of get my chill out of me and go play something else.
So you really just want SimCity and chill, is what I understand.
SimCity and chill. They could name it that. Holy shit, they should name it SimCity and chill. EA would be on the nose with that if they did.
But that would be an intelligent idea by EA, so we know that's not possible.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Speaking of intelligent ideas that no one's doing, Capcom, where the hell is another Mega Man soccer game?
Oh, good pick. Oh,
where the hell is our Mega Man soccer game?
Oh, I am so happy you picked this. I didn't pick it. I didn't when I was looking through the so many Super Nintendo games to pick 3, which is very hard to do. I didn't run into this, but holy crap, I would have changed my final answer for this for sure.
Look, we know that sports games do well. We know that people want to play fun sports games. The Sifu developers seem to think so. Also, I've played the Captain Tsubasa anime soccer game. It's not bad. It's just FIFA with actual fun to it. Cool.
Yeah.
But come on, look at it. Why wouldn't you want to play this?
I can hear. I know we can't hear the actual video right now, like in the feed itself, but I can hear it in my head because I can hear the music.
I mean, you were watching the SimCity parts of the screen. You've just had it stuck in your head. I'm amazed you were able to focus the entire time.
The entire time was just that chill music in the background.
Now, look, did the original of Mega Man Soccer play well? No. But that's not why we played it. But now it's 2025. We can make it good, and we'll love it for the reasons we actually like Mega Man Soccer for. It's because Mega Man and Soccer make no fucking sense, especially at the time because Mario hadn't even started that shit yet.
Yeah, that is true. I guess Mario.
So here's before we say anything else, Mario, fucking copycat. Absolute fucking copycat. Cheating off 100%. Capcom's fucking homework.
It's actually kind of true. It could be true. This may have released, and then Nintendo was like, "We could do this. Why aren't we doing this?"
Well, what else? What else should people be doing, Chris? You got one more.
All right. So for my final one, I'm going hardcore. Kind of connects to something that I had in the Genesis one, and that is Mario Paint. I want it back. I want a new Mario Paint.
You don't have some random, really weird, like fucking offshoot of something that you found one day?
What, that Wacky Worlds one?
Yeah.
The Genesis
one? You don't have anything else for the Super Nintendo you want to bring up?
Fun fact, after recording the Sega Genesis episode, I went on my Steam Deck. I installed some Sega Genesis games because we were talking about them. I played through Super Baseball 2020 and actually beat an entire round of it.
You're welcome.
I won 6-2. Played some other stuff. But I also installed that Wacky Worlds on my Steam Deck and Mario Paint from Super Nintendo because the emulator allows you to use your mouse as an actual mouse,
which is perfect.
It actually is perfect. It is just like, I mean, it was the old school Paint kind of program. Like it was Microsoft Paint, but on like obviously a Super Nintendo with a mouse. Coolest idea. It was a lot of fun. I love to throw it on and just fuck around with it. It's no real point. It's just being creative. And at this point, I think they could do so much more with it. Especially if they're willing to put it on a PC where obviously keyboard and mouse is like standard. They could be insane with this and it'd be like Nintendo returning to the PC fold, but with like they're a purpose, not porting their other games to PC, but like, hey, remember Mario is missing on PC and that was like us being on PC? We're going to give it another attempt, but here's Mario Paint. And like, I think people would go apeshit for this if it released. I also have a theory because there's a theory that the new Joy-Con controller on the Switches have mouse functionality where you can put them on the side and hold the one like a mouse. It was kind of showed in the trailer for the Switch, and I know that some people have been kind of hinting at it, or there's rumors of it, and like, oh, Nintendo leak. Seems like it might have mouse functionality. If they're going to do a mouse functionality, my theory is that the Switch 2 will have a Mario Paint successor, and it will use that mouse functionality. If that happens, you heard it here first. It was my idea because I'm just saying now we need a new Mario Paint. Like that's exactly how it is, right? Clearly Nintendo would have worked on it for a little bit longer, but we won't talk about that point. But yeah, I actually hope they really, really do. I think that this is one thing that, especially on a Nintendo console, like it's kids play it, adults play it. I think adults would love going back into this, especially like the music making and stuff like that, which was so cool. To actually go in and like create actual songs in Mario Paint and stuff. I know there's also that like fan made mod where you or I don't know if it's a mod or what it is, but with like a lot more sound effects and people are creating like full songs in Mario Paint. And they have for like, I don't know, 20 years at this point, I think. I think that they could absolutely bring that back with the music, with the drawing and all that. Throw it on the Switch, maybe have a PC port if we were lucky, and they would have just insane. Like I think people would go happy for, like they'd jump for joy for this. Plus parents would buy for their kids like crazy because who doesn't want their kid to have some sort of drawing tool? Also with the Switch 2, I'm talking about this mouse functionality. Let's also be real. The Switch 2 is a touchscreen. Easily could be great. Instead of giving your kid an iPad, here's a Switch with a drawing tool and you know that they can't end up on YouTube or anything like that. They're just in Mario Paint. What a great way, right? So I think everybody wins, especially me, and that's why I won.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't really hide the fact that I just at this point say that it should be Earthbound. I don't think there's really any way I can go around that. kind of leaning towards Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but I think 1 was kind of getting made anyway, so it doesn't need that now. So, like, if we're just talking art styles that need to be addressed and need to be, like, redone, oh my god, Earthbound.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's also a game, too, that, like, I think I need a remake of, because I've tried several times to get into the original, and I can't.
Yes, it needs some quality of life improvements for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely a case where, like, it's a little slow. It's really hard to kind of tell what you're supposed to be doing. Like, this is the kind of thing that if you had, like, a 3D world and you could, like, imagine the graphical style of a 3D world you could walk around in, that sort of, like, children's, like, comic style.
Yeah.
You could do some really cool shit with that.
Yeah, I think this would be a fantastic idea. And Nintendo's always been weird with Earthbound. Like, it even took until the Wii U for them to port the game to the virtual console or whatever it was. Like, it was never even available on the Wii. And I don't think it's been available since the Wii U. Like, I don't remember even if it's on the Switch Online service. It could be. It could be on the Switch Online service, and
Still,
I'm just forgetting.
Nintendo being weird about things, what a shocker. I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, why is there not more? Like, even if besides a remake, why was there never a sequel? Like, since Mother 3 and stuff. Like, it's been 20 something years, and they just have ignored the series.
Enough people care about it, even though it's been like the cult classic for like 20 years.
Yeah, because Reggie, when he was still American Nintendo president of America, he used to just get bombarded with tweets all the time. There was just people like, hey, by the way, like, you know, great Nintendo Direct, but where's a new Earthbound? Where's a new Earthbound? Where's Mother? Like, constantly. And yeah, like, I don't get it. I feel like this would do so well if they had like a remake and then even a new one.
Now, as a side note, I don't know how the hell they're gonna do Gygus if it's in full 3D. That would be interesting.
That is a nightmare. Holy crap.
A literal
I didn't actually
nightmare.
think of that. Like, I didn't think about that. Maybe that's why they haven't returned to it.
They're just like, we don't need to scare any more children, to which I go, fucking yeah, you do.
Yeah, because that was... I don't even know if the theories of what that final boss were correct, but look, holy hell.
I'd rather kids be scared of stuff like that than be scared of pointless things like I was as a kid, where there was like a casino game on Sega Genesis that scared me because the face that the guy makes when he loses all his money makes it seem like his jaw's falling off. It just looks ghostly. Yeah. Like, I'd rather kids be scared of actual scary things than the dumb shit as a kid I was scared of.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Man, Earthbound, where?
Yeah, Earthbound. Great pick. Great pick.
So there you have it. Any honorable mentions just to quickly shoot them off?
I had Soul Blazer.
I did have the Quintet trilogy on my back burner, yep.
Yeah, I should have just wrote all three. I should have just said all three.
Soul Blazer, Illusion of Gaia, and Terra Enigma, all fantastic games that I wish I could really take a crack at.
Yeah. I wrote Stunt Race FX because I loved that. It ran at like 10 frames per second, and I figured if they just brought it back, it'd be a cool thing to do. Nintendo needs more racing games that aren't Mario Kart 8. That's why also. I wrote the Donkey Kong Country trilogy. I know they have new ones, but I think just releasing the old ones in like a slightly newer format even doesn't, like, maybe keep it kind of similar. Like, don't make it necessarily look like the new games, but maybe that trilogy. And then I wrote the original Harvest Moon. They're remaking the other ones. So they've got like Friends of Mineral Town, A Beautiful Life, and all the, like, the other ones are slowly getting remade, and it seems like they're working their way backwards from the newer ones to the older ones. I want the original that was on Super Nintendo. That's still to this day my favorite. Again, the music.
Are you sure you want them to do that, though?
I mean, I really liked the remake of Friends of Mineral Town. So I still do. Yes, I still do.
So you're willing to take the risk. Got it. Okay.
I'm willing to take the risk. And if it's bad, won't like it, and I'll go play the original again.
Yeah, the only other two that I had is I want Tales of Fantasia.
Oh, good one.
Because it's the only Tales game that I actually enjoy growing up. So I actually want to
Really?
see if I actually do like the Tales series or not, or if it's just the new games I don't like at all anymore. So who knows? So I want that,
Okay.
and then I just want Super Punch Out redone, and by that I just mean another Punch Out game with more of the people from Super Punch Out, so we actually have some cool shit. I just want more
Yeah,
Punch Out. It's been a long time.
it has been. Yeah, another
I'm
20
surprised
no,
that we
just
went through an
under.
entire Switch cycle without a new Punch Out, and now we're gonna walk into Switch 2. So,
Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting. Last one was on the Wii. Yeah,
but yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
everything I had. Any last things you got there? Or?
No, that's it. I'm sure I could have listed off another 50 games if I let myself. But I stopped writing at 7 because it was supposed to be 3, and I was like, if I keep writing, I'm just
Look,
going to overwhelm
we can
my
always come
choices.
back to this. It's not like there's any shortage of games in that goddamn library. So
Yeah, I have to say this was the hardest one for me to do.
we'll
I
find
thought,
out. We'll find out really because the only real one I can think of that could rival that is PS2. So we'll see down the line just how much harder it is to pick 3 of that.
yeah, that'll be tough too. PS2 is going to be tough. I think Game Boy/Game Boy Advance might be a little tough. But yeah, Super Nintendo and PS2 I think are going to rival for the 2 hardest ones.
Yeah.
Because I found this one very difficult when looking at the list.
Well,
Yeah.
that is going to do it for this one, guys. So thank you so much for checking us out here on this week's Sidequest. So remember, obviously, at the bottom of your screen there, the link tree, linktr.ee/pixelplay podcast, link to our Discord, link to our socials, link to everywhere where you can get the show. And obviously, you know, if you got questions for the show in the Discord, you got the chat there, that we got a channel set up just for that. We also have an email address, askpixelplay@gmail.com. So if you want to see anything either for a side quest down the road or just questions to be asked at the end of the main show, we can do that there. But as always, main show on Wednesdays at noon. These always go up Fridays at noon here on YouTube. So with that being said, thank you so much for checking out this episode. We'll see you the next time we see you. Bye-bye for now.